What's up, Michael Hutchins and Chad Harrison? How you guys doing?
Doing great today. Thanks for having us on.
It's a pleasure. Authority brands represent, right? Authority brands comes well represented with Michael and Chad.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So, for the audience, what's up, everybody? Michael Reeder, CPA here, Swartz Reeder Advisors. I got Chad Harrison and Michael Hutchins on here today, Authority brands. So I don't know if this is a Chad question or a Michael question or whatever it is. But I mean, what is Authority brands all about in the franchise world?
Chad, do you want to field that one?
Yeah, sure. So Authority brands, we're all about home services. We're looking to dominate that area. Michael and I, we head up 1 Hour Heating and Air. We've got, number one HVAC franchise, residential franchise in the US, and, strong executive class within the brand and, expanding every year. So just a great brand to get behind, a group of guys, executives, so forth, Michael as well, to just start fielding and getting with some new clients and making these dreams possible.
That's great. I mean, before we go on any further about Authority brands and the home services industry, Chad, I got to give you props on that beard, brother. That you're rocking that beard. Is that are you gonna keep growing it out, or is your wife telling you it's time to chop it off?
She's encouraging me, actually.
Okay, yeah. So let's dive deep into this is actually I'm calling an audible. This is actually a men's grooming podcast. So special guest Chad Harrison now. All right. So your wife is more so she's not into the beard. And you are?
Yeah. She's actually encouraging it, and I'm not sure when I'm going to stop.
She's encouraging
until it gets caught in something.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool, man. So home services. So does Authority brands solely focus on that industry, or are there any other industries with your portfolio of brands?
No, Authority brands, our goal, we're a relatively young company. We've only been around 5 years. And in that 5 years, we started with one brand. Now we're up to 12 and, we're pushing about 2 billion in annual revenue. But our goal is to dominate the home, both inside and out. And we do a very good job cross marketing, because the homeowner is the same customer, whether you've got 1 Hour, America's Swimming Pool. And so our goal, again, we're looking to probably acquire several more brands before the end of this year. And, we have several market leading brands, 1 Hour being one of them. We're the number one residential HVAC company in the country, franchising now almost 20 years. Wow.
Michael just dropped the B word there, billion.
Yeah, billion. That's a great number.
That'll always open up listening. I'm sure listeners are doing a double take. They're driving or they're doing the dishes or whatever, and they hear, did Michael Hutchins just drop the B word?
It translates into really terrific discounts on the front end, rebates on the back end for all of our owners, just driving greater profitability.
Absolutely. So, Michael, say that again. You're at 12 brands now. You want to acquire more brands between now and the end of the year into 2023. When did Authority brands start out with just one brand?
We just celebrated our 5-year anniversary. I was up in Colombia. I guess that was maybe the middle of last month. So, within the last 30 days was our 5-year anniversary.
Okay, great. So as a CPA, I'm doing the math. So that tells me somewhere around 2017. That's
correct.
Awesome. Good for you guys. Good for Authority brands. You guys seem to be growing at a rapid pace. I mean, what's the vision for Authority brands as we move into the future?
Well, to continue on this path, we have a terrific culture within our organization, and we really are franchisee friendly. All of our goals, all of our sales approach, everything, we're all consultants. Every one of, the members of the franchise development team, we really value those long-term relationships with our franchisees. We want to educate them. We want them to be able to make an informed decision and set them up for success. And we have, most of our franchisees, whichever the brand, they renew when the time comes, to re-up their franchise agreements. But also, even more importantly, they're expanding. I mean, part of, our growth strategy is that, we've got not only our owners renewing, but when they do, they're adding on second, third territories, and then reaching even out prior to renewal, adding additional territories. So we have a very good group of franchisees that are happy with Authority Brands, with the brand that they have specifically within Authority Brands. We're getting together first week of November. Every franchisee from within Authority Brands, across all 12 of them, we're getting together at the Rose and Shingle Resort down in Orlando in a couple of weeks, down there to celebrate, awards, training, just sharing best practices. So, we're really looking forward to that as a company.
That's awesome. And if there's celebrating going on, then it's implied in that franchisees within the brands of Authority Brands are successful.
They are. I mean, I represent 1 Hour. I'm responsible for the growth of that brand all across the country, but I'll just share some numbers. So people that are familiar with franchising, they know what an FDD is. They know what an item 19 is. So, our initial investment to get into a 1 Hour, and the majority of the individuals.
It's a 1 hour, is it heating and air?
1 hour heating and air.
Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
The majority of the individuals that I work with are entrepreneurs. They're not from within that industry, but they like it. They like that it's an essential service. They like the high return on investment. They like the relatively short ramp up period. I mean, this year alone, I've got a NASCAR pilot, someone in med school, engineers, IT, finance, E2 visa candidates, women. We're a member of Women in HVACR. We've got, quite a few new women owners coming in, and the initial investment is $150,000. Now you look at our FDD. Last year, our number one location did over $22 million. System-wide average revenue per location was $3.8 million. These 1 Hour locations ramp up extremely quickly. They are budgeting and adding additional vehicles, additional staff, probably within their third quarter after opening. And, our goal is to have every franchisee at least at $1 million in revenue. So we want them making money, being able to reinvest back into the business. And again, setting the proper expectations. And what you had mentioned is absolutely true. We have a great stable of happy franchisees, and they, happiness is defined, success. It's not just financial, which is obviously important, but, a lot of our owners, like, it's life-changing, and now they have more time to spend with family, different things like that. And 1 Hour was the vehicle that allowed them to get there.
Wow. That's awesome. And speaking of women franchisees in the home service business, I mean, I'm just listening to you talk, Michael, and my wife is more handy than me, and I'm not ashamed of it. She can definitely probably fix the HVAC system quicker than me. I'd break it for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not, if you want to tinker around with equipment and things like that, absolutely. But I'll tell you, the two key attributes to be successful with 1 Hour, they have nothing to do with having kind of that handyman mentality or skill set. It's about following the system. 1 Hour has already been successfully replicated hundreds of times across the country. And it's about building a team, creating that culture, having everyone aligned towards that same common goal. Our owners basically provide their technicians with the ability to run their own business with a vehicle that's provided for them. They transition to profit sharing. They make a very good living doing that, but it's about building that team. This is a simple business model. You can start off in a single territory, 2 vehicles, 2 technicians, 1,000 square foot of warehouse space. That's what the owner in my hometown did. Now he's up to 177 employees, 60 some odd trucks, largest contractor in the panhandle of Florida. Even though he's gotten larger and scaled his business, the team still gets together every week for updates. They have contests, and, he's created that culture and follows the 1 hour system. He hasn't deviated from it. He went from zero. Now he's tracking 35 million in gross revenue this year.
Wow.
So again, it's following the system. You do not have to have a desire to know how much refrigerant goes in a machine, a desire or a skill set that involves turning a wrench. This is about, being a successful CEO of a HVAC company, making sure that, all of the training and the materials and everyone, it's accessible for everyone so they can execute their jobs and continue to grow. That's what's key.
Yeah, absolutely. So everyone out there listening, what Michael just said is very important. You're thinking about investing in a business. You want to be you want to invest in a franchise, the appeal of that. And we talk about this all the time over at SRA. Just stick to the system that the franchisor provides you. Stick to the system. What I heard about that franchisee down in the Panhandle that Michael was referencing is that he's a good franchisee, and a big part of that is executing the playbook that the franchisor provides you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel as a franchisee. You have to keep the wheel spinning. You have to follow the model that the franchisor provides you, and stick to the model. Don't get fancy, execute it, scale. And it seems like it's not just this Panhandle franchisee, Michael and Chad, that's doing that. It seems like a lot of franchisees, not only for 1 hour, but for the entire Authority Brands portfolio, are doing that successfully.
Absolutely. Each brand has their respective GPS system that you're buying. So when that GPS system tells you to go left, don't go right. That's definitely one of the benefits of franchising. I mean, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And I've even heard people describe it as bowling with bumpers. I mean, there's a lot of things, but you're paying for that system. And, franchisees are entrepreneurial, but there's a difference between an entrepreneur and a franchisee. I mean, you're buying that system. Again, what you had mentioned, follow the system. It's going to be the path forward. You're going to save time and money, taking advantage of all of that history and knowledge, et cetera, to get you to where you want to be.
Yeah, 100%. Michael, are you working from home?
Yeah, we work from home unless we're on a Delta jet. That's my other office. That's it.
Awesome. You look great. It's COVID era, right? It's COVID. We're all working from home. We're on Zooms. Is the tie is the tie required, or do you do that by choice? Because for me, I'm just like, man, Mike, you got to take that tie off and unbutton the top shirt.
Oh no, I mean, I've got my board shorts on and my shirt and tie. I have finance committee today, so I've got other meetings and things like that. So no, but working from home has some advantages. Yes. Yeah.
I always because in this Zoom, in this COVID, I call it COVID era because we're not, I don't say post-COVID because we're still kind of in COVID, and there's not really going to be the new normal. But so, back in the 80s, right, there was the mullet, which was business in the front, party in the back. And so now, in COVID, with Zooms, it's business up front and just hopefully you're wearing something that, but it's just it's relaxing down low. So I'm sure that we're all, we've got our, we're probably wearing our sweatpants or board shorts underneath. That's just, it's the COVID era, man. That's just how we roll.
That is, what it is. And, I live at the beach. And so when the work day is done, I try to save myself time getting to my happy place.
Absolutely. I can only imagine Chad, with that beard, you probably got some leather pants or something that you're wearing. You don't gotta show us. I'm just, my imagination. So no, that's awesome. So I mean home services, right? So as a now I'm going into the mindset of a client, a customer that would be a customer for one of the brands, right? And so I'm sure that I would love to get your whole 2 cents on this topic, Michael, Chad. Chad, you're allowed to talk, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. Most of your competitors, your independent competitors, right? Like the reputation with them is that they're, a lot of them, and a lot of them are not, but there are a lot, they may be great at the technical service of the fixing this or the, remodeling that, but like everything else about their business sucks. It's like they say they're going to show up on like Monday at 12 and they show up at like 1 or 2, or they just don't show up. Or when you're trying to get a quote from them, you can just tell that they have no process. They're just like, you can just tell they're just kind of coming up with a number in their head. And it's just like, are you screwing me over? Like that's the reputation that a lot of independent contractors have, is that they may be good at their technical skill set, like in their respective trade or craft. They may be really good at it, but like every other aspect of the client experience or the customer experience is frustrating. Like, and I mentioned some examples. And so when you work with a franchise brand in the home service industry, you get that great client experience. I'm sure that, if 1-800 Heating and Air is going to show up at the house and they say they're going to show up at this time on this day, that, the customer can rely on that, and that there's a whole, there's a transparent pricing model when it comes to and everything is being articulated. So that overall client experience, and of course, y'all are good at what you do in the respective service, but it's not just the respective service, it's everything else that goes into that client experience. Would love to get your take on that.
Yeah. And it's, so, our trucks on average doing, 2 to 3 calls a day. They're able to develop that relationship with the client. They give an efficient proposal, and a thorough one. And that was a great point too, Michael, in some cases, we end up fixing a lot of issues that we see from other groups and businesses. The operations is so well detailed that our 1-hour van will pull up into the street with the van facing the house as opposed to the driveway, and that's the operation. The client gets a text before they show up, who is the technician. So it's just, and that's the Authority brand saw the advantage in perhaps a lack of professionalism for some contractors. And so that's exactly what they're focusing on.
Yeah, lack of professionalism with the competition, 100%. And I would, as a client, I would, so value is subjective, right? Like value is subjective. The client sees the value or they don't. Like there might be that client that could put up with, the contractor never showing up on time or all this confusion, and they bill them whatever. They just kind of came up with some number and they bill them. But man, can they, do a good hardwood floor? Or man, can they fix an HVAC or something like that? But there's also a lot of clients that really just want, because we're all busy in this world. We're all busy, like the client has got work and family on their, and if someone is going to show up at 1, I want them to show up at 1. And so, as a client, I'm all about client experience as a consumer. And so that's really important to me. And there's a lot of other people out there of the market share that are like me with that mindset. Like, yeah, of course we want the technical, we want the commodity service to be done good, whatever that technical service is being done, we want that to be done good. But all the other aspects that come with it, and then when that good client experience happens, that's when, because there's nothing like good old fashioned word of mouth, right? That's when they're going to tell their neighbors, they're going to tell their family, they're going to tell their friends, had a great experience with 1 Hour or any of the other brands. Because, they did a great job, but also they were just so helpful. And that's the type of stuff that's really important, that seems to really lack. And it's, the home service industry just kind of has that reputation, just because you hear all the stories, how people, all the nightmare stories with, with independent one-man band contractors and stuff like that. So it's a really interesting topic.
Well, I'd like to add, we're selective on who we let into our system. And again, the majority of the individuals that I work with are entrepreneurs, but I do work with some existing contractors that to convert their business, they may have hit a wall, $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. And there's several things that I hear, common denominators, it's management. So anything related to recruiting, training, and retaining their team. So they're not experts in everything. So, with 1 hour, we have our own internal success academy, mirrors that of any accredited trade school. Our owners, they can recruit from within the industry, and technicians who are at level 1, level 2 can further their careers, their own personal earning power without having to go back to a trade school, without having to spend tuition. Our owners can recruit apprentice level employees, hire for attitude. 30 days, you can take your landscaper, they can be a new maintenance tech. 3-4 months, they can be a new service repair technician. And we're very proactive helping all of our owners build their teams. We recently just spent $700,000 with the various military branches, placing veterans with transferable skills all across the country, giving them a second career, adding to the strength and depth of our owners' teams. Last month alone, I had 5,500 applications, people wanting to join the family. So we're very good at helping people with that. Marketing. This could be an owner's lack of experience, time, budget. It doesn't matter. We take care of all the heavy lifting for their marketing needs. We've got our own internal team. We make the phone ring. We build fences around their customers once they're engaged. And we ensure when someone in their territory is looking for a contractor, they show up on the first page, near the top of the list. And again, you talked about pricing. So we have, pricing sheets. So that's part of our system. Everyone pays the same price. It's simplified. You give the bid on your tablet. You take the payment on your tablet. So all of those things, I have several, and again, new owners joining 1 hour since, the beginning of the summer. Smaller contractors, working hard. There's no more time in the day for them to work anymore. But, they can't be an expert in marketing. They can't train new staff because they're busy working in the truck, not working on the business, and a variety of other things. I mean, I've got success stories, not only from our entrepreneurs, but existing contractors. I have a husband and wife in Texas. They were one vehicle, he was in the truck, she was answering the phone. They've only been part of 1 hour for 4 months. Because of our purchasing power, their existing book of business became more profitable enough that they were able to budget and add another vehicle, another technician, and bring their daughter in to be admin within the company. So they've already doubled the size of their company in 4 months. And I've got, several more like that. But again, it's, there is kind of, those are the things. We're the on-time contractor. When we teach people our system that have those skills, and then we get them profitable enough and generating enough revenue, we eventually transition them out of the truck and then working on the business. And then they're able to go to 5, 10, 15, 20 vehicles and really change their lives following the 1 hour system.
Wow. Powerful stuff right there, Michael. And so that Texas couple with their daughter, they were an independent business that converted.
Independent, yes, sir. Independent. I have another husband and wife in District Heights, Maryland. They just signed a couple weeks ago. They leased out a space. They've got great vehicles. He's working. They've got all the skills. They could probably fix anything. Marketing. They made some money, and then they try. Their best intentions. I mean, they didn't throw money away, but they didn't know what. They just figured, well, we need to market and let's just spend money here. It didn't return. There was no ROI. So they're not experts in marketing. So now, we're going to come in and take care of all their marketing needs. Actually, they're going to be spending less money with 1 hour on their local marketing than they were doing on their own. And the results are going to be night and day. So those are, it's difficult to be an expert in everything. And, with a franchisor partner, you don't have to be, you're basically getting this super employee for the cost of your royalty, someone who's an expert in marketing, recruitment, operations, technology, whatever it may be, working with you as a partner in profit in every aspect of your business. And, if you follow that system, you really truly are set up for success.
Yeah. I mean, Michael, you're spitting fire right now, man. Like you articulate all of this really well. And,
well, I've been franchising for, over 20 years, as an individual producer, someone who's recruited and trained my own teams. And I mean, I've had responsibility for 10 brands in 2 different countries at the same time. And franchising is my vehicle. We talked about, the vehicles and I enjoy working with entrepreneurs, being able to kind of look in the rear view, mirror and see, different businesses, that I've had a small part in helping get established, and getting to conference where you've got all your owners. And when people, come up to you and thank you for kind of giving them that encouragement and that nudge to go into business for themselves, and just how, it's changed their life. It's extremely rewarding beyond the financial, rewards that this career has to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. It rolls off your tongue so well, Michael. I'm sure that like every now and then your wife catches you talking in your sleep, and she's like, So Michael, there you were last night again. You were having a dream, and you were, you were talking to someone about the 1 hour brand, and you nailed it.
Could be. Maybe that's why I wake up with signed applications on the kitchen table in the morning.
Your pillow.
I might, exactly. That could be why, who knows why I keep on getting those applications showing up. Even the family dog has filled one out. So I guess that's where it comes from. That's great. I mean, when the family dog is getting in on the action, then you know that you got it right. So, Michael, what you just said right there was really powerful. What was really present for me was when we can't be an expert in everything. And that's such a great nugget of advice for any business owner, right? I mean, I'm a business owner, and whether it's a franchise business or an independent, because I mean, ultimately, franchise model is one subsect of overall term, which is business owner. Then there's independent or franchise, But surround and you've said and I heard other things like team and culture. These are all so vital to the success of any business. Focus on what you do, be self-aware. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And surround yourself with team members that compensate for your weaknesses. And so when you invest, when you go the franchisee route. You get a lot of that team support from the franchisor. And one of the first things you said, Michael, when we started this episode was that authority brands and your portfolio of brands within the authority brands, are franchisee friendly. And just hearing you talk, Michael and Chad, I really see the word, I see everything that you're saying mapping to that, to the fact that you are really franchisee friendly, and that's huge. Yeah, we take great pride in that. And it's part of our culture, not just 1 hour, but all of authority brands. And it's not just in development, it's in our marketing department. We host different events, and people get to come in and, meet with Chad or myself, really, other senior executives, and they get to see that culture. And really, even when we work with a lot of franchise brokers for the first time and they get to know us, they very quickly entrust us with their clients. We know how valuable those clients are to them, but after meeting our team, they really do. It's like, you're going to let someone babysit your children. You got to get to know them a little bit, but very quickly, I will say, with all of my counterparts and all their respective brands, it's very visible, as what you had just said, when you meet the rest of the team, that is just, that's one of our common denominators, that, we really do take that approach. We are franchisee friendly, and it conveys very quickly, with the people we do business with. Yeah,
absolutely. A lot of people listening, franchising is, and what franchise consultants do, what franchise, whether they're independent or if they're franchise consultants that work at authority brand, a big part of the day-to-day of a franchise consultant, a franchise broker, is educating the market about this gosh darn thing called franchising, right? Because a lot of people out there, if you were to say, hey, what's they'll think of, like sport leagues like the NFL and the NBA, or they'll think of QSR like Taco Bell and McDonald's and Dunkin'. Oh, Dunkin' Donuts is a franchise, right? It's like, but there's so much more that goes in. I mean, there's so many industries that are in the franchise model. Like the franchise model is in so many different industries, and it's like, whoa, home services. And authority brands just opens up, so just educating the market out there, just educating prospective franchisees about authority brands and the franchise model in the home service industry and all these different, we're talking about 1 hour a lot, but I mean, it's that I feel like franchising is that third option, that third thing that is not really being brought up at the dinner table conversation. Right? It's like option number one is like, well, my corporate job is a grind. Do I just quit and find another corporate job? And that's option one. The option two is maybe I start my own business. I start my own little independent business, right? But option three is maybe I invest in a franchise brand. There's also option four, which is invest in a resale, whether it's an independent resale or a franchise resale. But it's the franchise industry and everything that's going on in the economy today, right? I mean, we can like let's go into that. I mean, it was happening before COVID, right? Ageism is real. People are getting laid off, right? Like automation and AI is real, right? And so like robots are taking over and offshore, right? And going into other countries for lower costs. But then boom, COVID too, and then working from home, and just, people want to be and it's trendy and it's sexy to want to be your own boss. But we know all the statistics out there. A lot of people that dive into business ownership, the odds are against them, right? And then going into a franchise system increases the chance of being successful. It gives you that support, and I feel like when a lot of people out there really get educated about the franchise industry and they, wow, there's really so much more in the franchise world than I thought. Like look at authority brands and all they do in the home service industry. I mean, it's really powerful. It's intriguing. It's exciting, and it really gets people thinking. Like, what? Like this third option called franchising, I think I might throw my hat in the ring.
Absolutely, and I will. I'll just share this as well. I mean, franchising is definitely a viable option for a lot of people. But if you're exploring, for whatever the reason, maybe, you do want more freedom of time. You're looking, to create more financial rewards, whatever the reason could be, as you're investigating. It doesn't have to just be 1 hour. It doesn't have to just be within authority brands, but I would say an important part of the process, if this is something that you're new to, is, besides speaking with someone like myself, and I encourage, this is a process I take everyone through. I have a webinar. I educate you on the opportunity and the benefits associated with the brand. There's a franchise disclosure document that every brand has, and you should have the opportunity to go through that document and have any questions answered that are related to that. I make it mandatory that anyone that I'm talking to that's considering going into 1 hour, I want them to speak with owners, people like themselves, to get their perspective on a day in a life of owning a 1 hour location. I think that's a key step for anyone, is to really understand from the owner's perspective, and have those conversations. Meet your team days. I host one a month, but that's an opportunity where you'll get to meet with other senior executives really on the operations side. You want to know the power behind the brand, the people that are going to work with you through onboarding and on an ongoing basis, helping you to get to, to meet and exceed the established goals for your particular location. You should go through that process. You should never feel rushed, pressured. You want to be able to walk away after going through that and have all the information that you need to make an educated and informed decision and feel good about that decision. And once you enter initial training, have that momentum, and keep it moving forward, making your first sale, whatever it may be, get that revenue come in, follow that system, reinvest, but absolutely do your homework. And it's okay to evaluate more than one opportunity initially. I mean, there's lots of different industries. Like we're talking about home services, which, I'm a big fan of. I mean, they're recession proof. Now we know they're pandemic proof, but, there's, as Michael said, almost every industry, I would probably say every industry has, a franchise arm, somewhere associated to it, because it does eliminate a lot of the risk, and it will save you a lot of time and money. You don't need to have an operations manual. You don't need to create one. All the procedures and processes are there that allow you to ramp up quickly. So I would just pass that along for anyone listening that's, considering franchising. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you go through those 4 or 5 steps that I just outlined, and that'll provide you with a strong foundation to make a solid decision.
Yes. I mean, I heard webinar, education. I even heard you say the word homework, right? And you're wearing that white shirt and tie. So from now forward, I'm going to refer to you as Professor Hutchins. So thank you.
We've heard that before, Chad. Now, that's funny.
So we got Professor Hutchins, and I'm going to go with Sensei. I'm going to go with Sensei Chad, just like that beard.
I like it.
Yeah,
yes.
We're going to do a little kung fu afterwards.
Chad is a fan of ninjas, and you'll be able to see him. So that's actually very fitting as well.
So we got people. I'm here with Professor Hutchins and Sensei Chad, all things authority brands and the home service industry. 1 hour heating and air. What's another success story? Because these success stories are important. Because people listening that are thinking about it's important to hear these success stories. You got the success story in Texas. You got the success story in Maryland. Give the audience another success story.
I'll share. Let's see here. I'll share one more success story. This is again about following the system. So I had a technician. He was not an owner with 1 hour heating and air down in Florida. Had to move up to New Jersey to be closer to family. But he's very good at recruiting, which I said, is part of a key attribute. And he already knew the system. So he had an opportunity to get in and get a small percentage of a location in New Jersey, as part of his hiring package. In a short amount of time, he became the owner. He was so good at building the team and just getting everyone loyal to him. He ended up buying out the business. He's now running, I don't think he had, he had maybe $4,000, I think he told me. I forget the amount. It wasn't substantial. He's now running a $10 million a year operation, but he's still, he's grassroots. He sponsors the local Little League team and the girls softball, and he sets up, tables at the elementary, middle schools for spring and fall festivals, whatever it may be. And he's, up to his 3rd territory, but this is an individual who, had, gone to trade school, was looking for a way to take care of his family. He was not living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, the technicians, they make a very good living, but, he had to move, family obligations kind of, upended his career. He moved up there. He didn't, have too much. He went back into another 1 hour up there. And again, now he's on our franchise leadership team. He's in his 30s, and, his family is no longer really concerned with, if they go out to dinner, what the bill is or anything like that. He takes very good care of his people. He understands that team building mentality. He likes to recruit apprentice level employees. He's got his key people that have those skills, but he wants to hire for attitude. He wants to look someone in the eye and say, this is a big boy job, big girl job, whatever it may be. Show up on time. Here's the keys to the vehicle. I'll spend all the money on marketing. I'll make the phone ring. You go out and execute your 4 appointments a day, and you'll be making $150,000, $200,000 a year. That's what it takes. And he has built up an amazing team. We use him as a case study for recruitment. Another, again, 1 hour gave him the tools, but David, absolutely rolled up his sleeves, executed, has a lot of integrity, works hard, a tremendous success story, changed his life. That's great. And now he's making all this money, and he needs to work with someone like me to figure out how to pay as little tax on it. Where to pay, yes. And he's, just a humble, very nice guy. And he's a guy. He actually opened up another territory and put an entrepreneur there. Because again, you don't need an HVAC or that kind of background. You need a team leader, a coach, and to build that team and keep everyone focused towards that common goal. And, even with someone, that's where he got his start, was in the trades. But now that he's expanding, he knows that that's not the most important attribute. Like, he's put in, his manager has great people skills. He could not do anything more than flip a switch from hot to cold when the season changes on the thermostat. That's his, the extent of his HVAC knowledge. Leadership matters. Absolutely. Let's do a quick rundown of the different brands in Authority. Just going off of memory. There's 1 hour heating and air. Like, what are the other brands? Just go rapid fire. Sure. So within what I would call the essential services, like the trades, you've got 1 hour heating and air. You got Ben Franklin Plumbing, Mr. Sparky. We got Stop Restoration. I think now we've got America's Swimming Pool kind of on the essential side. Color World Painting was there as well. Duty Calls, which is, pet cleanup, whether it's residential, commercial. The Cleaning Authority, that's where Authority brand started. We've got that. Home Watch Caregivers, Mosquito Squad, and Monster Tree. I think. Did I leave anyone out, service. Chad? Did I leave anyone? Yeah, so we've got 12 brands, all, represented by someone like myself and Chad. Again, we're all cut from the same cloth. We have a great team. Whether you're Woofies, I forgot Woofies. Jamie would be upset. Jamie Levine, Jamie. Shout out to Jamie. Jamie is terrific, and that's our newest acquisition. And so Woofies is like pet grooming, pet sitting. Great brand, headquartered, I think, in Virginia, and Jamie's done a terrific job. Mobile, yeah. They've already, I don't know how many more they've added to their footprint, but that's our newest brand. That rounds out the 12 right there. Good catch on remembering Woofies, because Jamie was about to send the dogs after you. Yeah, she does. She would let the dog. What was that song? Let the dogs out. She would have let the dogs out for sure. No, Jamie's great. We're buddies, but she does a great job educating her clients up, on that opportunity as well. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I'm going to tell my editing team to make a little micro clip on that one. Make a post right there, tag Jamie on it. That's going to be a hoot. Go ahead, Michael. What are you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say that, and that's something we do on our end too. Like as Michael's talking to potential candidates, or myself as well. If the brand doesn't seem to be aligned, say someone's coming from a background of home care, then we pivot. We have that opportunity to pivot within the brands, and make sure we set them up at the right brand.
100%. And Michael, you made a comment about is it American Swimming Pool? Is that I got the brand right? Roger heads that up. Another great guy. Well, I was going to say that like swimming pool if you have a swimming pool, if you have an underground swimming, if you have like a built-in swimming pool at your house, that absolutely is essential. You don't maintain that thing, that's going to be a problem, especially if you try to, it's going to affect the resale value of the house when you try to sell it. So it's definitely essential. Yes, it is. Great stuff, guys. Thank you so much for jamming with me on this episode. I really appreciate it. Our pleasure. Pleasure. We'd be happy to come back another time. Just let us know if you've got, I love franchising. I could sit here and do this all day long. I love franchising. So, anytime you'd like to invite us back, we'd be happy to. And thank you again for inviting us this afternoon. Well, Michael and Chad, it's an honor and a privilege. So thank you to the two of you. Thank you to Authority and the brands in the Authority family. How can people, what's the best way for people to contact you?
Chad, do you want to share your contact information, or I'm happy, Michael. They can just contact you and you can put us in touch through your network if you'd like to.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, what we'll do is, so everyone you're listening, just keep listening. A few minutes later, we're going to have the contact information at the end of this video clip for Chad and Michael and for Authority Brands. If you're listening to this, and you are an entrepreneur, you're a prospective business owner, you want to learn more about Authority Brands, we're going to give you all the information that you need to reach out to Chad and Michael. And if you're a vendor out there in any sort of regard, and you want to reach out to Authority Brands to articulate your value proposition as a vendor in the franchise industry, reach out to Authority Brands. Michael and Chad, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you.
Our pleasure.
The feeling is mutual. It's love all around. Wish you guys nothing but success. And did you say that the goal is to get another 8 brands to go from 12 to 20 in the next, by the end of the year? Or
not 8 by the end of the year. Maybe a couple more by the end of the year, but 20 is definitely in our sights, for expansion. Mm-hmm. Not eight for, between that, not in the fourth quarter of this year, maybe 1 or 2 more this year.
Okay. And people, if you're listening to this, we're filming this. It's early October 2022. So Authority Brands is crushing it out there. It seems like they've got a lot of successful franchisees, but don't take my word for it. Michael just laid it all out. And Authority Brands is on the upward trajectory. And with people like Chad and Michael, I'm not surprised. Jamie Levine, great team over there. So guys, keep doing what you're doing. We are big advocates in the Swartz Reeder Advisors world and the SRA world, my world. We are big advocates of business ownership. I am a CPA. I am an entrepreneurial CPA. I'm an entrepreneur myself, owning multiple businesses. I've got hundreds of clients that are business owners, both franchise and independent. To me, being a business owner is the real, true American dream. Doesn't mean that, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, people, don't shy away from hard work. But when you're working for yourself, and when you go into franchising, as Michael alluded to earlier, you're in business, for yourself, self-employed in the eyes of the IRS, but not by yourself. You got a team, and you got some great team support over at Authority Brands, over at all of their brands within their umbrella, within the Authority brand. You got some great support, and so you're looking to invest, you're looking to be your own boss. Reach out to Michael and Chad and Authority Brands. Gentlemen, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.